Catarina!
That's awesome. I see another big one. You're a nice guy, huh? This is it? Oh, we go here. 2 walls, inner, outer.
Yeah, this is the inner wall, that's the outer wall. Within the inner wall, that's the area the ruling class used to live in, while also the inner wall for the subject.
You said that on the inside was the ruling class.
Ruling class. So I talk of the ruling class, I talk of the rich people. You have in every community you have the elite people.
Sure.
Yeah, so the ruling class lived in the city center. The people being ruled lived outside the city center. Life in the city center are costly compared to the life outside the city center.
Right.
So as a result of that, we are not going to walk the entire city, that's 72 acres square.
Right.
Neither the 45 acres. What we're going to do, we're going to walk only the heart of the city.
A number of reasons.
Which led to the downfall of the city. But the main reasons, the major ones are 3. Lack of water, diseases, and war.
I read online lack of Maji, the Maji shelf reduced.
So I'm going to outline how did the war, diseases, and the Maji contribute to the downfall of the city.
Okay. So they say not to feed the monkey inside.
They might be dangerous. Not all the monkeys are friendly, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to be careful. Out of 45 minutes, I'm going to spend 10 minutes out of it to summarize the long story short, so that as we start walking, we spend less time.
So.
Because you'll be taking photos here and there.
Yeah.
So the whole information you have it in your head, and it will be just taking photos of the area.
So.
How do you find it?
Yeah, very good. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, it's very good.
By the way,
yeah.
This was a city, as I told you earlier.
Yeah.
Gede was a city, Malindi was a city, Mombasa, Lamu, Zanzibar, number of towns, each had a school. According to Kakma was an archaeologist.
Okay.
President of Zanzibar. He did here excavation 1948 to 1958. During the excavation, there are a number of things that Kakman found in here. Most of his history is from archaeological artifacts and others from the area of the community.
Okay.
Yeah. But before Kakman came in here, we have other authors who have written their history too. When you compare the book of Ivory, it speaks about the input of African people to the globe, while most of the Kakman's book speaks loudly about the input of the foreigners to the globe, forgetting to mention the Africans themselves. As a result of that, when you read the book of Kakman, you may end up thinking that maybe Africa didn't exist because it speaks about the Arabs and also maybe the Portuguese and the Africa, which are the main components, are not mentioned. As a result of that, you may think maybe Africa didn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this case, I'm going to read the book of Ibn Battuta. Also part of Kakman book and other thing. I'll put all these things in one bucket. It will be up to you to filter which one you want to take and which one will leave it.
So.
Ibn Battuta said we only had 2 sultans. One was in Mombasa, another was in Zanzibar. The rest of the time they didn't have sultans. But they had Liwali. Liwali is the same as Senga governor. Gede had Liwali, Malindi had Liwali, Lamu too had Liwali. Yeah?
So.
Liwali, the same as Senga governor.
Liwali.
Liwali.
Liwali. So. Okay.
And to say some of these governors are really powerful. E.g. the governor of Malindi was among the powerful governors. What made him so powerful? Malindi was a central place because of the wealth that made the governor of Malindi to be that powerful. How did he accumulate his wealth? How did Malindi become so wealthy, so rich? Malindi was a central place whereby sailors from Zanzibar and outskirts of Zanzibar who wanted to sail down to Lamu to make a stop over Malindi, and sailors from Lamu and outskirts of Lamu wanted to sail down to Zanzibar to make a stop over Malindi. Due to that, it made Malindi to be one of the busiest towns. It made Malindi to be one of the busiest towns and rich town. Because of loading of goods from the boats, One could spend 3 days, 2.5 to 3 days, only offloading. The time want to depart, 3 days again. So a week will have gone in preparation. You remember 2 weeks for butter. Butter trade. That was the business of the day.
Butter.
Yeah, barter trade. Exchange of good for goods.
Oh, barter.
Yeah.
Yeah, barter.
Barter.
Barter. Yeah, barter. Yeah,
Yeah,
just accent. Yeah, you have the word, just accent.
Just the accent.
Yeah.
Exchange of good for goods. Of which it is said, sailor as far as Muscat.
Muscat.
Oman.
Yes.
Sailors as far as Muscat. Muscat, it is in Oman. Sailed all the way from Oman down to Malindi, not to do business, but they came to Malindi specifically asking for donation of food. And were given donation of food. When they were given donation of food, they traveled back home, explaining how they've been treated, how they've been handled, how good they've been handled by the local people. And that message reached the Sultan of Oman. As a result of that, that was one of the reasons which made him to shift his headquarters from Oman down to Zanzibar. Yeah. And he could rule the Oman when he was in Zanzibar.
The Sultan of Zanzibar, his name was what? Help me remember.
We had a number of sultans.
There was many. Yeah, sure. So we're talking about still 10th or 11th century. Sasa.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
That's why the initial one who shifted his headquarters from Oman to Zanzibar, he came to Zanzibar simply because of the positive story about East Africa. And when he came there, he became overall sultan. As a result of that, the governor of Malindi was being praised of what he has been doing. When that happened, the governor of Malindi could not respect his boss, immediately boss, that's the Sultan Mombasa. Since he could make things, I think, could fix things, I think, could move on smoothly. He saw no reason of him respecting his boss. As a result of that, there was friction between the two. Between the Sultan of Malindi and the Sultan Mombasa. The governor of Malindi and the Sultan Mombasa. Later, the governor of Malindi had to declare himself as a sultan. After he declared himself as a sultan, the other two governors, Gede and Lamu, were unhappy that one of their colleagues, one of their fellow governor, is no longer governor but a sultan. So they reported him to the Sultan Mombasa. After they reported him to the Sultan Mombasa didn't react immediately. As it was taking time to examine the issue, the problem, the Sultan Mombasa, these two thought that it's taking too long, probably is happy about what is going on around on the ground. So they too ended up declaring themselves as sultan too. They all became sultan. That's the starting of mess. As a result of that, the title Malindi is a Swahili noun meaning full of wealthy. Mali is in Swahili meaning wealthy. Then the expression how rich the town was, Malindi, a lot of wealth.
Wow, okay.
That's why to give donation to country like Oman and other people. That time, not today. That time it was very rich city. Today it's not a rich town.
Yeah, it's changing.
Yeah. Total opposite. As all this happened, when friction started here and there, it happened Vasco da Gama happened to come to East African coast. When Vasco da Gama arrived in Mombasa, Sultan Mombasa didn't welcome Vasco. In fact, wanted to kill him. But Vasco da Gama narrowly escaped from Mombasa to Malindi. When arrived in Malindi, was given a warmly welcome. He stayed in Malindi approximately a year. In that staying Vasco da Gama, there are a number of things Vasco da Gama learned from the local people. Also, the number of things the local people learn from the Portuguese too, unfortunately. These things the African people learn from the Portuguese have been well captured in books of Catman and other people. But those things the Portuguese learn from African people are never written in their books. And this has created a scenario where African people have nothing to offer the globe.
Sure.
Because no written evidence. And that's not the case. There's no way one can stay in a particular place a week or 2 weeks. Or even a month without learning anything from that particular community area. And here, we're not talking 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 or 1 day. We're talking of 1 year plus a few weeks, a few months. As a result of this, I want to explain to you what did African people give us, not what we learned, but what we gave out.
Yes.
How people learn from us. For example, as Vasco da Gama came in here, he found the local people having houses, and these houses were of mud. Mud houses thatched with makuti. Makuti, these are leaf the palm trees. These are common houses back then, of which you had other houses made of coral stones and muddy too. Whoever had a such house, you salute him. That person must be very rich.
The coral house.
Whoever had a coral house
was a rich man.
Was a very, very rich man.
Back
then, whoever had a such house, you may think that was the most modern house. You may think there be no any other beauty house than that. So those are the standard, most beautiful houses of the day. Such houses had toilets in them, sitting room and bedroom. Only to find that when Vasco da Gama came in, the local handled the Portuguese the same way they've been handling the Asians. Only to find that the Portuguese had no idea about the toilets. So they learned about the toilet for the first time in Malindi.
The Portuguese.
The Portuguese.
So this is around the year 15th century. So whenever you said the problems started to come where people were becoming sultan, they were naming themselves sultan.
Yeah, they declared themselves as a sultan.
Which year is this?
We are talking back then around 14.
Yeah. Jumbala Mtwana.
Yeah.
Jumbala Mtwana.
Jumbala Mtwana is another.
1350. Around 1350, I think Jumba.
Yeah, Jumba is quite young compared to Gede.
So yes, that's what I was seeing online.
Yeah.
It's younger.
Younger.
Yeah.
Gede is the youngest, but Gede compared to Jumba is younger compared to Gede. Gede to Malindi, Gede is young. Gede to Mombasa, Gede is young. But Gede to Gede Ruins, Gede is old. Yeah.
So, wow.
As a result of that,
the
Portuguese learned about the toilet for the first time in East Africa, that is in Malindi.
Wow.
We didn't have taps back then, but we used to put water in clay pots. We put water there, it's cool.
Yes.
Yeah? So we had this water in the clay pots in the sitting room, clay pots in the sitting room, and the toilets we had also some clay pots. So for the Portuguese had to be oriented, although this had to go about the toilet and the hygiene too. Not only that, but also eating habit. The local wash their hands before eating and after eating. Yeah? Not only that, but the Portuguese introduced, just give and take both sides. They introduced the table. The table, the Portuguese, they call it mesa.
Mesa.
That's why the Swahili people call table mesa too. But not only that, the local, they could take bath daily. So they were told, if you go to Rome, do what the Romans do. So for the Portuguese had no option but to do what the local people were doing. So they had to learn to take bath daily from the local. All these things made the Portuguese finally were impressed with the culture of the people. Such that the time has come where Vasco da Gama wanted to proceed with his journey down to India in a town called Goa. Half of the troops said, no, we're not traveling back home, simply because what we've seen in here is something unique. We don't want to travel back home.
Yeah.
It's more home than our really home. The people are so kind, so generous and whatever. We find it difficult to travel, to leave this area.
Same today.
Yeah?
Same today.
Same today?
Yes, for many of us. We come, it's too good.
Yeah.
And we don't like the idea of going home sometimes.
Really?
We might go because we must. Huh? Ni kweli. It's very good. Yeah.
This thing, that time was much square, more than this today. If you find it today, those days was much more than that.
Surely.
Because that time, it was also the people, the area was also rich.
Yeah.
live today whereby it's full of poverty. These people also are rich. Yeah, in terms of food and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So the Portuguese, they find it very difficult to travel back home. So they are boycotting the job. They are boycotting the travel. And we'll see in about the number of expertise. Some are fishermen, some are cleaner, some are cooks, some are captains. What happens if half of the troop are saying, no, we don't want to travel back home? The journey will be difficult. These were not the only reason which made they say no, but also they found African beautiful ladies too.
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They were only men who traveled those days. So men are very weak in front of women. So they've traveled they're in a boat for about 2-3 months in a boat, only to find out they've taken long in a boat without even seeing a woman, a single woman. They've done in a place whereby not only seeing 2 or 3, they've seen its city. Yeah?
Yeah.
So they were crazy. They heavily intermarried with the locals. As a result of that, the locals of the day, the ladies of the day, had to hook these guys out of Malindi city to other towns. That's why Vasco da Gama was totally confused. He could not wanted to travel back home, but it was difficult for him. That's why later could be given extra captain who could navigate him right away from Malindi to Goa. Goa, it is in India. Then from Goa back to Portugal. When he was back in Portugal, the government of Portuguese had to send an army, and the commander of that army was called Inuna da Una, all the way from Portugal down to Mombasa. When I arrived in Mombasa, Sultan Malindi, after getting that information, that Nuna da Una is in Mombasa, decided to send his people to collaborate with Nuna da Una to fight against the people of Mombasa. And indeed, after that fight, they conquered that war and built Mombasa for Jesus. By the time Mombasa for Jesus was being built, already Gede was existing for about 1.5 or 2 centuries back. That is to say, Gede monument is much old compared to Mombasa for Jesus in particular. After they conquered Mombasa town, the people of Mombasa were less comfortable. They wanted to take back the territory, but they could not fight the Portuguese out because the Portuguese have strong cannons. That's why they had to seek reinforcement from Zanzibar to fight back the Portuguese. After they took back the territory, they decided to revenge the people of Malindi. After that revenge, on the way back, they found this city. These people are caught off guard. And now that was the first door to the city. The second war came as a result between the Swahili people against the Oromo people. The Oromo, these are nomads. They keep moving from place to place looking for green pastures. On arriving to this place, they found the city very rich and they decided to attack the town. When they attacked the town, the Swahili people could not resist that long because they've been weakened by the previous war. So the Oromo found it easy and took over the leadership of the city and went further and changed the name of the town. The actual name for this town was called Kilimani.
Say again?
The name of this town was called Kilimani.
Kilimani.
Yeah. It's a typical Swahili name. Meaning a place is hilly. Kilima. In Nairobi, have a place called the Kilimani too.
Yeah.
So Kilimani is a Swahili noun, meaning a place is hilly. They changed it from Kilimani, the Oromo people, to Gede, whereby Gede means precious. Why precious? Wow. According to the Oromo people, wherever they see water, green pastures, to them is precious. When they say precious in their mother tongue, they say Gede. That's how the name Gede came to existence. Another meaning of the word Gede can be the name of the Gela ruler. After he took over the leadership of the city, he called the city after his name. So Gede has got 2 meanings. A name of a person at the same time means precious.
Wow.
Yeah. Apart from the 2 wars, there's a problem of water. That time from here to the beach, it was about walking distance. Ocean receded. As the ocean receded, water table was going down and down there. Eventually, all the water changed the taste from sweet to brackish or saltish. Outbreak of diseases started. We never had doctors, no nurses. We used to rely on shamans, herbalists. These were highly respected, as we do respect doctors today. So the shamans could control a number of diseases, but those diseases could not be controlled at all. And that disease was called the plague. Plague was a deadly disease which paralyzed most of the cities in Europe. So when the Portuguese came to Malindi, Vasco da Gama and his crew, some of these guys were already affected by the plague through rats or whatever. Please, as a result of that, since Malindi was a commercial hub, people could go to Malindi and butter their goods in there and travel back home. So they could be infected and affect their families, transmit the disease. As a result of that, people are dying of the plague. And since the shamans had that mandate of they could control number of diseases, they were the doctors of the day, But the plague was a foreign disease. Nobody had an idea about it. They too didn't have an idea about it. So they ended up associating that disease with spirits, saying this must be spirit that fear for life. So the only way out to run away. They ran away, nature took over. Nature played a very big role in dismantling the structures. When the people have abandoned, fear of the plague, ran away. Those days, whoever wanted to move from point 1 to point 2 needed to have enough water and food to sustain him or her his way. Not everybody could do it. Some of the people died here, other people died on the way. Those people who made it, they could tell the story about this city to the children and grandchildren. Then later, the descendant of this place, they could trace this place. After being told whatever that day, what happened. When they traced the place, they found the city was under a jungle. Nature was taken over. They had to pray to the ancestor. They keep praying to the ancestor. She developed, it became a shrine. Gede became one of the active shrines. People who come in here asking for aid, asking for children, making wishes, and the wishes to come true. Due to that, it was not allowed one to pee, neither to poo, simply considered holy. Yeah? But as you understand, according to man nature, if you are told not do A, B, C, D, that's exactly what you're going to do. For those people, pee and poo, they saw the consequences of it. Other people could become invisible people, others could be stung by bees, others ended up became good ambassadors. That's why till today it's not allowed one to pee, neither to poo in the city center, simply considered the holy place. Yep. Despite the fact the shrines are no longer active as it used to be.
Yeah, but the spirits are still here.
Exactly. But
The spirit never goes away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any questions so far before you
No, I love it. It's very good.
come with me?
Very, very good. You know, in the West, we hear about Africa only for West African slavery.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we hear. We never hear about any history of trades happening in East Africa. So when I came the first time, I was very shocked when I was taught about Swahili culture and the Oman coming and all that. It was very, very shocking to me. And I feel like the world doesn't know. And the best thing they could do is come and see this incredible already.
Exactly. Because whatever it was, people have been brainwashed. The positive things, as I told you that is when you consider the book, some of the written, even when you go to internet, speaks very little about about the input of the locals to the globe. This one is a public water well. We fed the water from this water and pour it here, and the water flow. Once the water could be poured here, the water could flow in here, get in the cistern. Washing of hands before one enters in the mosque, one has to do ablution. This is the inlet, water getting in here. When the water get in the ablution, when get in the cistern, one could take an ablution. After taking the ablution, the water should remain in here. There's an outlet here by the water, passes through sand and rocky, come down here, and the water could be filtered. As the water passes through sand and rocky, the nature will get filtered. So on top of the recycling of water, the idea of recycling water existed back in 13th century. African people had that knowledge of recycling water. 200 years before the Portuguese Vasco da Gama was born, the African people had that knowledge already. Leave alone that one there, burning of the coral stone and coming up with the cement. Them days we didn't have bamboo, no rhino, no blue triangle cement. These people had to burn the coral stone, press them together. White powder, the one which was used as a cement.
They burned it to make it come strong.
They burnt it. When you burn the stone, you burn the stone, you make it weak, and you can easily grind it. Become that ash you mix with water for plastering.
Plaster.
Yeah, and which you join the coral stone with mud, as this one here. Then use that cement, that powder for plastering.
So we have coral hapa.
Yeah.
Na mud.
Yeah, that's a mud.
Mud and maji.
Yeah.
Coral and fire.
Yeah, coral.
Coral na moto.
Yeah, coral, the powder of the coral mixed with water become like stone again.
Wow.
For plastering.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Let's get to the Gede grave. The grey cement is not original. Renovation be done using modern cement.
They did this for preservation.
Yeah.
Because they were splitting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Due to weathering and other things.
Wow, brother. This is incredible. You know what I like about you?
Lucky enough you are with me. Otherwise, if you could get another guide, Maybe it could be just be taken very fast and could not get all this information.
I was about to say, what I really like about you is you're very deep into knowledge.
Thank you.
And you're not bored. You're not bored.
You advertise me too.
Oh, absolutely.
When the clients come in here, say, by the way, this is the mihrab where the imam standing here, they talks to the believers. The men could sit at the front while the women could sit at the back. And this pillar could support the roof. While this one is the mihrab.
For the priest.
Yeah, and the muadhin can come in here and make a special call for prayer. He can do this.
Oh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That is a special call for prayer. Acknowledges Muslim that if a prayer is about to be, get prepared, come for prayers.
Is there a right way or wrong way to pray if you're not a Muslim? Like let's say I'm a Christian, or let's say I'm not a Christian, but I believe in God. Is there a wrong way for me to pray at a place like this, or should I not do it?
You can come and pray.
I could even pray there when I go, if I want.
Yeah, that's why.
I can just talk to my God.
Exactly. So. That's why I thought this was a shrine.
Yeah.
I always talk about the shrines.
Wow.
The people who are not Muslim that day, they had African belief, African faith.
Right. And I was trying to figure that out last night. That this was
which African faith they could come in here.
Yeah.
That's why I told this was a shrine. Today the shrines are no longer active, but still people have been coming here making wishes, and the wishes could come true.
Wow.
That's why despite the fact the shrines are no longer active, it's not allowed to do pee poo anyhow in the city. So we believe God is one. So the formula you use to get in there, everybody can get. But indeed, you can come and just pray here.
Wow.
That's a mihrab.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, very moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you want to make a wish tool.
Yeah, before I go.
But you're not coming back here again. You're going. Maybe we shall come back for that.
Oh, there's a different way. Oh my goodness. Wow.
This one you may call it a street.
This one.
Those days, this one, today we call it a street, but those days this was not a street. It was like a super highway.
Yes.
Those days it was like a super highway.
Donkey.
Yeah, donkeys and maybe number of, and that one there, a private waterway. The water from there was cool and clean. All the families living in the city center had private waterwells, whereas the poor family could share public waterwells. All these structures initially had roofs. These are houses of the people with roofs, the roofs of makuti leaves, of which after the city was abandoned, nature took over. Nature played a very big role in dismantling the structures. Today, none of these structures have a roof, with an exception of the bathtub, that one there.
And the roof was made of?
This one here, made of coral stone. Just like the great mosque was made of coral stone. But the rest of the houses, they are roofs of makuti.
Makuti, the palm leaf.
The palm leaves.
Yeah.
So this for pipi and pupu, number one, and number two, you ride in a long drop.
So this is the only place within the city center that you can relieve.
Number of toilets. Each house had a toilet.
Oh, okay.
That tells us how hygienic these people were.
Wow. Okay.
This is not a communal, it's private one.
Wow.
We are talking of the toilet back then, those centuries.
Yes.
And this one here, that's the bathtub. The timbers are not regular. They've been put there to prevent the roofing from falling.
Wow. Incredible. House of the Cistern.
House of the Cistern. Kakman. Wherever we find something to label the area, couldn't they find it found? Kakman was a British resident of Zanzibar. And wherever we find something to label the area, couldn't they find it found during his excavation? After he excavated this place, he found a cistern tank of water. This clearly indicating that the owner of this house, indeed, was not only rich but super rich. Why may I call him super rich? Back then, whoever had a stone house was considered a rich man. But this guy not only having a stone house, with a bathtub, with a private water well, as if all those things are nothing, he even had a swimming pool. There's a step down there, one could come down here.
This is the pool.
Yeah, this is the pool.
Wow.
That tells us how rich this guy was. A swimming pool.
And I see people used to mark the tree?
The trees they grew after the seat was abandoned.
Yeah. Oh.
After the seat was abandoned, nature took over. So the trees never existed back then.
And some people were they're drawing.
Yeah, so it's not encouraged.
Wow.
To find some other people doing it.
Yeah, not encouraged. Yeah.
With a bamboo stick a meter high, with a big balloon with the skin of an animal. The one who come down and pump in air. As one pumping air, the air get down there, passes through the bamboo stick to the balloon. Once the balloon exerts much pressure, the balloon releases the air through the tiny pores. For the people sitting around here waiting for the sultan, they could easily get fresh air from the balloon. This thing was acting as AC. These are the most modern items used those days as air conditioning.
AC. They pumped it with, you said, a balloon. Balloon made of
skin of an animal.
Made of the skin of an animal.
Yeah.
Wow, my friend. So reception, they only let important people, loved ones, wives, family, children come to the palace.
Not everybody could come in. Just a special people. Just like today, the people can see the president or our governors. Not anybody can just go walk in there.
And if we go to the State House, Sasa,
yeah.
the Kuna AC.
Yeah. So the IC, the idea of IC, it's not new.
Yeah.
This was used as a toilet. The sultan could sit there. The sultan could sit there. Advisor the sultan could sit here. Other VP could sit down here. Gede was International Trading Center. Items from different corners of the world are brought in here for trading, exchange of goods for goods, barter trade.
Wow.
Yeah, Sultan there, advisors here, other VP down here. This was for the men, while the other section for the women. That side. That's for the women. When you look the other side there, there's Madi. The cornerstone have been joined with Madi. I told you these people use Madi to join the cornerstone together. Then they collect the cornerstone, burn them, crush them together. White border, the one which was used as a cement. The entire seat was like this, whitish in nature.
Wow.
For plastering. So the whole, this is the only wall where it has never been tampered with modern cement. Still original.
Yeah, see?
The whole seat was like this.
Wow.
Take care. Please. And this one here, it's a VIP toilet. A toilet where it had mirrors inside.
The mirrors were inside.
Inside there.
Wow.
So all these tells about the civilization of African people, the Swahili people. And down here, this chamber, the advisor of the Sultan could come in here and advise the Sultan. That's for the men. The other section for the women. The pillar tomb.
Wow.
The last two sultans.
Wow.
The last two kings after that, they buried under this tomb. We have a number of sultans.
They are here now.
The last two, the skeletons are stuck down there.
Nobody removed.
Yeah, they were never removed.
Wow.
When you go to the museum, we're going to see only the artifacts, not the remaining of the human bodies. So, this is the last two sultans are buried down here, and this is the harem, the houses of the wives of the sultan. The sultan had 4 wives. Each wife had her own house, and each house a self-contained house. This one here, that's another air condition.
Wow.
That's for PPM. PM for number 1 and number 2. You ride a long drop.
Let me ask.
Yep.
The Swahili people, correct me if I'm wrong, please. They are Bantu mixed with Arab people.
Yes.
So.
You're right.
So.
But by the way, Swahili, it's Arabic word.
Yes.
Meaning people of the coast.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Swahili, it's Arabic word. The Arab, they found, when they came down here, they found people living in here. So they could call the local people as Ahal Sawahil, people of the coast.
Say again slowly.
Ahal Sawahil, people of the coast. So In the people of the coast, who are the people living in the coast at that time? These are the Bantus.
Bantu, yeah.
Yeah? So the Arab, when they came in here, and the Persian, other, they intermarried these people.
Yeah, they love the lady. It's a story of man.
Yeah.
It's a story of man.
Yeah.
We build civilizations and we
exactly.
destroy them, all for the ladies sometimes.
So due to that, a nation came. We're talking the Swahili civilization, we're talking the African civilization. These are typical African people. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they are Bantus, and that's Swahili. You find, though there's some Arabic word, but bigger percent, over 70% of its word are African Bantu.
Right. Yeah, 60-70% somewhere in there. Yeah. Small. Yeah.
And we have about 25% Arabic words, because the Swahili, most of the words are from Arabic. About 25%, and we're talking of 60-something Bantu. So the rest can be borrowed from the rest, but we add 60 plus 25, you get about 85. Yeah. If 65 get 85, then the remaining percentage you add with other languages who came to the East Africa back then, and other tribes within
Somali tribes,
Somali tribes,
other Kenyan tribes, Ethiopian tribes.
Ethiopian tribe, like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the road, huh?
Yeah, of course, that was the road. Item as far as Italy could be found in here. How did this thing go to this place? The Arab, they traded, the Italians brought this thing down here. That's how the thing got to this place. But on the other side, the Chinese cash. The Chinese thought that the Swahili people were that advanced. 14th century.
Chinese came here the same century as the Portuguese.
No, the Portuguese.
Just before.
Before the Portuguese, the Chinese were here.
Wow.
The Chinese they came here much earlier.
They're still here.
Yeah.
They're still around.
Let me explain about their story so that you get why they are still here. When the Chinese came in here initially, they came with they introduced money. At the introduced money, the local rejected it because that time the local were using barter trade. So the Chinese, their money was rejected, and they had to travel back home. When they traveled back home, they came with goods. What kind of the goods that the Chinese came with? They came with silk material.
Silk.
And porcelains.
As
a result of that, the local needed, the Swahili people needed the porcelains, needed the silk, because the Arab back then had cotton materials selling to the Swahili people. Where the local used to put hides of animals as or cotton cloth. Those are the only cloth. Either hides of animal or cotton. They were the only available clothes back then. So the Chinese came with the silk. Silk was a fashion. Everybody needed the silk. As a result of that, buying the silk, the Arab lost the market to the Chinese. Not only getting the silk from the Chinese, but they could get the porcelains. The porcelains, back then, the local had wooden carved bowls and calabashes and clay pots. Somebody was called porcelains, shining bowls. Everybody needed them. As a result of that, they ended up, the Chinese, the local ended up, the Chinese ended up conquering the market in East Africa.
And even today,
yeah,
they have a big share of the markets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As a result of that, the Chinese, they came with big vessels, and later one of their boats was capsized in one of the islands, in Lamu. That's why if you happen to travel to Lamu, there's a place called Shanga. Shanga. Shanga is not these ones beads, but the Shangas I'm talking about, Shanga is the short form of the word Shanghai. Remember, there's some local with the Chinese features. There was heavily intermarried between the Chinese and the locals.
Wow.
If you happen to travel to Shanga, you're going to see there's some people with small eyes.
Then I will know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When you see the Chinese back in Kenya today, season 2.
Now when they brought the silk, this is hot.
Yeah.
Remoto hapa.
Hapa ni moto, but despite the fact it was hot, the people, the man nature want to see change
the silk felt good.
Yeah, I want
and
to.
they made the dera. When did the dera become fashion?
The dera. The dera recently.
Oh. it's new.
Very recently, dera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when you say silk, you know, a dera made of silk.
The dera made of silk.
Feel very good.
Very good.
You know, less sweat.
So it makes a lady when it's put on there, it's moves.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, it makes her beautiful. It keeps her fresh.
Yeah.
It keeps her comfortable.
That one there, it's another strong room, a bank. Wow,
Good.
This one is a washing basin. After visiting the loo, we have to come down here. Wash
Fabulous.
hands. That tells us how hygienic these people were.
Wow. Or do you also go up country?
When I go to upcountry, I only go for safaris to Masai Mara.
Yeah.
But when I come to coast, I'm not only doing the history part of these historical sites, plus excursions. Excursions, the short excursions I'm talking about, is a dolphin safari, or sometimes you're talking of like creek safari. Yeah.
Creek, like Mtwapa Creek?
Mtwapa,
And other ones?
Creek. Yeah. Mm-hmm.